Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Brad Varnell. This is the Infinite Crypto YouTube channel. Welcome, everybody. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Wednesday. Today is going to be a fantastic day. We've got several microcap gems that we are going to go over today. I was tempted to call this video, like two tokens to 2 million or 5 tokens to 5 million. But I didn't want to use any clickbait. But seriously, folks, stick with us. We're going to go over some tokens that I believe have some just absolutely massive potential to perform extremely well over the next handful of months. And some of them, for the next handful of years. For the most part, we try to avoid tokens that we don't think are going to be around in 25 years. Now, there's no way to get that right every time. But the fact of the matter is, if we can find tokens that are going to be, the next Microsofts, Amazons, Starbucks, and so on and so forth, and we can get into them at a, small market cap, we have the opportunity to make, absolute fortunes. Back in the 1990s, there was the .com, craze, and, some of those tokens or some of those stocks made people a fortune, even though they went out of business. So even some of the tokens that are kind of a, like a shooting star that just have a meteoric rise and then they burn out quickly can still be a great addition to your portfolio as long as you sell them before they burn out. But long story, we really want to try to find tokens that you can hold if you wanted to for, 10, 20, 30 years and be accumulating wealth the whole time. So with that, I hope you guys are doing amazing. Thank you for being here. We've got Mr. Vanish Joy in the chat. Thank you for being here. Looks like everything is good on the stream. I appreciate that. After Monday, I was a little nervous after Monday about the stream. So just making sure that it's all going good. Vicky Turta, welcome to the show. Hope you are doing fantastic. I noticed that you are atop the leaderboard in the Infinite AGAPE referral bot. So congratulations. Hopefully some of your folks would start buying some tokens. That'd kind of be nice. I noticed that you've referred about 100 people, and I don't know if any of them have bought any tokens, though. So we're going to be changing that contest up a little bit here in the near future and making it more action related. We figured out that just having people refer people to the Telegram group doesn't seem to be doing the trick. For whatever reason, people are coming into the Telegram group, but they're not buying the token. So we don't know. We're gonna figure out what's going on. We don't know if everybody is referring real people or if people are creating fake accounts or what the deal is, but it doesn't make any sense to have as many people as we have in the Telegram group with as few buys as we've had. So some good things are coming with the Infinite AGAPE token. Some changes are right around the corner, and excited. I've got a couple of interviews lined up. Looking forward to sharing those times and dates with you guys once it's 100% in place, so you guys can come support the Infinite AGAPE token when I am on other YouTubers and influencers channels. And so with that, we've got Mr. Greg is on here. Come on, doggy. Let's go. You guys have been so good the last couple of days. Let's keep that up. Let's keep up the streak, dogs. Shazi, good morning. Hope you are doing fantastic. Mr. Eric Bernstein, hope you are doing amazing. Where's Dave P. and Pablo Noodles and XM? And all of the other regular crowd? It's summertime, so I know that we got a lot of people that are on vacation, that are taking care of kids, that are doing things a little bit different than they would have been doing while it was still, work time. So it's not that unusual for the views to, to slow down just a little bit during this season. But hopefully we have some exciting tokens to go over. And so, folks, I asked you guys yesterday, if for those of you that were watching the Trader live stream, that if you could do me a favor and bring some good tokens to the forefront of our minds, especially tokens if they were on the Binance Smart Chain Network, that would be greatly appreciated. Does anybody that's watching have a token on the Binance Smart Chain. So hopefully you guys are all thinking about this, because I know that just about every single one of you that's watching right now is a part of the Infinite AGAPE project. So right now, guys, we've got people nominating tokens. We're going to be able to start voting for the tokens. But even if you're not in a position to nominate a token yet, and you just have enough tokens to vote, you should definitely be thinking about some projects on the Binance Smart Chain, so that when you get into a position to nominate, you know who you want to nominate. And then also so that if your token gets nominated, you have the ability to know a little bit about some of the tokens, because you've already been checking them out. So with that, I've got a token that is not actually on the Binance Smart Chain network that I do want to share with everybody. But let's start off here with Mr. Greg Nowak, who wants us to take a look at BKN. That is a new ticker that is not super familiar to me. So let's go take a peek here at BKN. I might know it when I see it, but the BKN part doesn't bring a so Bricken is the name of the token, it looks like. I'm assuming, is it Bricken, Greg, or is it Basconia? Let's click on Bricken and see if it is on the Binance Smart Chain. That would be a good indication. So this is on the Binance Smart Chain. So I'm assuming it's probably Bricken. Yep. Okay, great. So here we go. $20 million market cap, $41 million if it was fully diluted. So about half the tokens are in circulation. You can see here 143 million tokens, 71 million of them. So almost exactly half in circulation, which gives us the $20 million market cap. Fully diluted would be, just about double that. So that's a solid market cap, not a little teeny tiny microcap, but definitely a solid little microcap gem. We can see here, if we're looking at this, looks like the 3-month chart. So it's been hanging out in the teens, anywhere from about 18 cents down to 12 cents here, 14 cents, 12 cents. And then it's had a pretty nice little rise here over since May 8th here. It's ran all the way up to over, around 30 cents. A little bit of a dip, but then back into pretty good shape. Hey, will you guys knock it off? Go lay down. So if we go here to the markets, it looks like you can buy it on Bitmart, MEXC, Uniswap, and PancakeSwap. So PancakeSwap is probably on the Binance Smart Chain, is where I would guess that PancakeSwap is. And so it looks like, it looks like there's not a whole lot of volume on PancakeSwap, but that we can buy this token on PancakeSwap and hold it in our MetaMask or Trust or Decentralized wallet, which is nice. It's available on Bitmart and MEXC also, so it's a pretty easy token to buy. And then let me see here. Let's go over to Bricken.com. Sorry guys, trying to get some of my black iced coffee in me and get a little bit of that caffeine high. So Bricken, it says tokenize, trade, and manage any financial instrument, redefining access, liquidity, and transparency in real-world asset tokenization. Says it's fully compliant, no code, integrated KYC, KYB, and easy onboarding. How it works. Let's click on how it works here. We don't want to play a video. That'd get us a copyright strike. So let's close that out. Let's see what we got here under product. We've got digital asset platform. Let's click on that. So try our digital asset platform. Create, manage, and trade tokenized assets seamlessly. Our all-in-one platform simplifies fundraising, asset management, and investor engagement. create customizable and compliant digital assets. Tokenize any asset with full flexibility while ensuring regulatory compliance. And it keeps saying to book a demo. I'm really kind of curious what happens if you go to book a demo. So book a demo discovery call to get a demo of Bricken's tokenization solution, a brief consultation tailored to your use case, insights to guide you to a successful launch. Interesting. Okay. So company industry. So you can show here what type of company, and it looks like it can be all companies, like agriculture all the way down to real estate. It looks like it helps a lot of different companies. What best describes your interest in asset tokenization? I'm interested in learning more about tokenization, considering launching a tokenized project, currently tokenizing assets and exploring new assets, project ready for tokenization. So, we've already technically launched, but it looks like this is, designed to help companies tokenize their businesses, which is, something a little bit different, something a little bit new to the marketplace, which is nice. I like innovations. Let me see here. Collaborating with Bricken has allowed Consa to launch the first digital asset in Chilean mining. We have reviewed tens of different tokenization platforms. Bricken is, by various parameters, our #1 choice. Our cooperation marks the beginning of a new era. Co-founder and CEO of the Hacken Group. So Hacken is a pretty amazing token, doing a lot for, in fact, I made a lot of money on Hacken in the last bull market. I was able to get in on Hacken at, I don't know, I think it was a fraction of a cent. Maybe it was 0.003 or something like that, or maybe it was 1 or 2 cents. I think it was under a penny. And it looks like somebody mentioned HI, which I believe is the ticker for Hacken. So we'll be looking at Hacken here. But let me see here. So this is still just exploring the digital asset platform. So interesting. So use cases, it shows a lot of different use cases, industries, obviously quite a few different industries that it's going to be helping. Where is that noise coming from? Oh my gosh, get out of here. Go. Sorry guys, I got a cat sitting right behind my computer screen clawing at something, driving me crazy. Partner marketplace. Let me ask you, Greg, where in the world did you come across this token? Was this something that you heard about through another influencer on another channel? Just came across it in your own research? What was it about this product that you really, that put it kind of on your radar? Tokenize equities, bonds, loans, or any other asset to access global capital faster, attract investors, and comply with regulations. Interesting. For efficient fundraising, enhance the liquidity of your financial enhance the liquidity of your financial instruments. Enterprise grade solutions. So this really looks like a project that is going to be the use case for it is more for companies, more for businesses rather than individuals, which is great because cryptocurrency, the way that it is going and becoming more and more mainstream, having a bunch of businesses that are flocking to something like this is also something that really helps create revenue, because let's face it, a lot of tokens don't have a revenue producing machine. And when you don't have a revenue producing machine, a lot of times it can be a little bit rough. Businesses need to create revenue. And they also, in order to make money for their shareholders, the more money that the company is making, obviously, the better that is in the long run. So I like the fact that this is for institutions and for bigger businesses, or, businesses in general, because that should create a nice revenue producing model for Bricken. Greg just says, Greg says, just sat at the computer one day going through tokens on BSC, and it seems RWAs will run this bull run. So that's the other thing. This is, if I didn't mention it sooner, this is definitely a real world asset platform. And, I think that most of us would agree that AI and real world assets are definitely two of the biggest movers so far in this bull market, and probably will continue to be massive in the upcoming years. Real world assets are going to continue to become more and more prevalent in our lives. The digitization of assets is happening on a global scale. And so I like the fact that it is definitely, a real world asset too. Let me see here. Something tells me it'll be one of the nominated tokens on AGAPE. Awesome. I love it. So folks, you guys are getting a little bit of a sneak preview for those of you that have AGAPE tokens and are going to be doing some voting. Take a closer look at this. And remember, folks, if you vote for the winning project, you're going to get a nice airdrop of that winning tokens project. So when we go, if let's just say that this did happen to get nominated and it wins, and we go buy $1,000 worth of these tokens, you might pick up anywhere from $25, $50 all the way up to $100 or $200 or $300 worth of these tokens if it ends up being the winner. And that's going to be the case for whoever votes for the winning token in this round. Just for the fun of it, I want to pull this up really quick so you guys, for those of you that haven't seen, if you let's see if I can click on the view here without connecting my wallet. No, that didn't work. What's going on here? Let's go back. All right, let's try this again. All right, so it actually shows right here. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but the duration here is June 9th. It's showing at a different time on the next page, but long story short here, I believe June 9th through June 21st is the nomination period. So it's a 12-day nomination period and then a 2-day voting period. So it's a 14-day cycle. And then we are going to be, buying the token and doing the airdrop. So the first voting round is going to start it's going to start on June 21st. So June 21st through June 23rd is going to be the 48 hours for the voting. So get ready to vote. You can see we've got 3 projects nominated so far, and I'm sure that several more will come in over the next 10 days. So thank you very much for putting this on our radar. Also remember, folks, that, this is a $20 million market cap, but if you look at the volume here, you can see it had $54,000 in volume on Bitmart, 276,000 here on MEXC, 42,000, 23,000. So my point is, that a buy of this token is not going to maybe move the needle 20 or 30%, but if we, depending on how much ends up in the rewards wallet, us going and buying $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 worth of this token could move the needle a little bit. So what some people are looking to do is once we announce the winner on June 23rd, there's going to be about an hour between when we announce who the winner is and when we go buy the token. And there's some people that are looking to load up. They're going to go front run us. They're going to go buy this token before we go buy it. And then they're looking to potentially sell it when we do our big buy. A few people are going to have an opportunity to sell and, potentially pick up 2%, 5%, 10%, depending on how much the chart moves. And then obviously you get an opportunity to own the token too. So if you like this token, keep an eye out for when the nominations are over. That's when the list will go live. So right now, the tokens that have been nominated, they are hidden. We don't want we don't want somebody that nominated a token today to have people looking at their token for 2 weeks. And then if somebody nominates their token on June 20th, people only have 2 days. So everybody's only going to have 2 days to look at the token. And for those of you folks, I just want to show you guys this again. For those of you that haven't actually been to infiniteagape.io, we're still doing a little bit of work on the website. But folks, I would recommend that you go take a closer look at the website, really take a look at the mission and, you know, some of the things that are important to us here. And, you know, it talks a little bit about the tokenomics. You know, you can click, if you're looking to buy the token, you can just click on buy here. That'll take you right here to the Pancake Swap, you know, wallet where you can buy the tokens. So get ready for some excitement in the Infinite Agape ecosystem. And so, yeah, thank you very much, Greg, for bringing this token to our attention. Let me see here. Hi. So Pablo Escobar says HAI. Let's go back over here to CoinGecko. I believe that is going to be Hacken. Yeah, right here, Hacken. So Hacken is an amazing company. It's been around for years. If we go back here, in fact, look at this. So April 12th May 21st of 2020 was its lowest price. And this is where I think I was buying in at this token. This is about where I got in on this token. And then you can see by April 12th of 2021, this thing had ran all the way up to 46 cents. So in full transparency, I put about $3,000 into this token and ended up turning it into around 100 grand. So I didn't sell anywhere near the top, but I sold at a significantly higher, you know, 30 to 40x. On its way up, I was selling chunks. And this is a token that I made a lot of money in during the last bull market. It was part of what helped catapult me up into, a couple $1 million in earnings during the last bull market. And full transparency, it's kind of been off my radar, but we can see here that it's come down from 46 cents on April 12th of 2021 all the way back to 1.694 cents. So 1.7 cents. If we go to the markets, you can see that it's definitely available on Pancake Swap. It is a Binance Smart Chain Network token here. You can see the contract address is right here. That's something else that I want to show you guys really quickly. When you're looking for tokens to nominate on the Binance Smart Chain, something that's important. Let's go back over here to BKN. So some of the tokens are going to have Ethereum here as their main chain, or maybe maybe it'll be Polygon or Avalanche or something other than the Binance Smart Chain. So when you're on CoinGecko, you want to go over here to these three dots and click that to see what other chains, because I don't care if it's on 25 different chains, as long as it's on the Binance Smart Chain, it's something that can be nominated and voted for. So if you're trying to nominate a project and you copy this contract address here, it's not going to let you nominate a project. You have to make sure you click here. Come on, you guys, knock it off. You have to click here and make sure that you get the Binance Smart Chain contract address. Now, in Hi's case, it looks like it is the main chain for hacking. And so it's just right there. It's the first one. But notice this. If you click on that, you can see that this is also available on Base, VeChain, and Ethereum. But it's number one here on the Binance Smart Chain Network. So this is definitely another token that could be nominated for those of you that have the $777 or are working to accrue the $777. This is a pretty great token. This is definitely a token that I love. It's near and dear to my heart. One of my good friends, a gentleman named DeMarcus Nelson, put me onto this token. Kind of a funny little story about this token. I had wrote down my private key for my Hacken wallet in a different notebook and put it someplace different than normal. And long story short, I bought $3,000 worth of these tokens for me, and then I bought $1,000 worth of these tokens for my dad. And we kind of forgot about them for a little while. They didn't do a whole lot. And then all of a sudden, DeMarcus messages me and says, hey, did you see that Hackin is like at 6 cents? And so we go look, and the $4,000 worth of Hackin is worth around 100 grand. And long story short, I go to log into my Hackin wallet and it won't let me log in. It won't, like, for whatever reason, the password and stuff, it wasn't working. It wanted me to basically import my wallet again, and I couldn't find my private key. I literally had a conversation with my dad and told him, hey man, I'm sorry. Your $1,000 is worth like $20,000 and I screwed up. This is the first time that I've ever lost a private key, something that was important, Dad. And my dad was so gracious, man. He was awesome. Like, hey man, that sucks, but you know, like at the time he didn't have anywhere near the computer knowledge and the expertise to be doing all of this. So I was kind of doing everything for him. And so he was like super, super gracious. And I'm sure he was disappointed, but he really didn't let me know it. And I was sick too, because I'd lost, you know, $60, $70, $80,000 too. And then long story short, I'm going through some different notebooks like the next day or the day after. Like I went through everything I could think of and could not find the private key. I was so sick. And I couldn't believe that I hadn't written it down in the notebook, in the spot that I write everything down in. Long story short, a day or two later, I come across this random notebook. Will you knock it off? Gosh. I came across this random notebook and I'm flipping through it. And long story short, like I thought it was, I think it was kind of funny in the moment. There was 12 words written down. Oh my God, you guys. There was 12 words written down just on a random piece of notebook paper in the middle of a notebook. And I don't even remember what I said, but I thought I was being sneaky. I said something underneath the 12 words that the average person wouldn't understand why those 12 words were there and what they were for. But whatever I said alerted me to the fact that it was the 12 words for this Hackin wallet. And long story short, I was able to use those 12 words, get into my Hackin wallet, and get those tokens moved over to KuCoin or someplace like that. I think it was KuCoin at the time. And we were able to start selling those tokens. But for about 24 to 48 hours, I was pretty sick to my stomach that I'd lost my dad 20 grand and I'd lost myself about 60 grand or so. So that's, you know, a little quick side note, a little fun story. So we've all done silly stuff and lost crypto. I didn't lose it, but I came very close to losing some significant money. And it was all out of laziness. You know, I kind of remembered after the fact that I didn't want to go, you know, get my notebook and stuff that was all locked up and safe. I didn't want to mess with it. So I just wrote it down in a hurry on a different notebook. And long story short, so that is, you know, always take the steps necessary to protect your crypto. That's the moral of the story. If somehow that notebook would have got thrown away, or if something would have happened, something would have got spilled on it. So the good news is, folks, I got everything transferred over into the right notebook. I destroyed the piece of paper that shouldn't have existed in the first place, and it was a happy ending. We ended up making a lot of money on Hackin. But you can see here, guys, you can buy this thing on Gate, KuCoin, Mexi, Pancake Swap, even Aerodrome now. You know, it's moved over. So that's the other thing. It shows you that this is growing, because Aerodrome didn't even really exist until about a year ago. So this is a company and a project that's been around for 5 years and is still growing and going strong. So Pablo Noodles, is this a token that Pablo Escobar, is this a token that you are excited about? Is this a token that you are invested in? Or, you know, what was it about Hackin that got you excited and wanted, you know, got you to want to share it with us? So while you're answering that, I'm going to pop over here to their website so you can see here that Hackin is more than a token. It's the fuel for an ecosystem that drives security solutions while connecting research, skill building, and real-world impact, backed by Hacken's evolving community. Hai opens access to tools and opportunities for those looking to shape a more transparent Web3. Whether you're diving into DeFi, researching blockchain data, gaining in-demand skills, or simply holding Hai, it gives you a stake in Hacken's success and supports the movement towards trust in the digital world. And so it shows, audits here, services. So you can see here, it's got dual defense. It's a smart contract audit. In fact, we did our audit for the AGAPE token, but Hacken is always a company that I've wanted to reach out to and maybe have them do a second audit just as a way to build a relationship with them. And I'm so glad that you brought this to our attention, Pablo, because this would be a great company for me to potentially reach out to and maybe do a little bit of an airdrop for some of their token holders. Let them know. I think my friend DeMarcus Nelson has a relationship with Hacken. And so there's definitely some things that I can potentially do, partnerships and collaborations with Hacken. And this would be another great token. If somebody's watching and you're listening to this and you have 777 in AGAPE and you weren't 100% sure like what token you were going to nominate, don't take my word for it. Do your own research. But if Hacken was a nominated token, I think that would be amazing for the community. And I think it is a great token. I do think at $1 or 1.7 cents, but this is a token that you guys should highly consider dollar cost averaging into. If you don't have a bag, this is a company that I would be extremely comfortable investing in. So you can see it's got blockchain protocol audit, DORA compliance, virtual CISO. Some of this stuff, I don't even know what it means, but it is a safety auditing security firm. And it definitely is a viable company that, like I said, has been around for a long time. They burn tokens. I believe they've got a staking mechanism where you can earn. So yeah, you can stake high and earn up to 180% APY. So there's a lot of things about this token that I really like. And if we go back here to CoinGecko, you can see the market cap on this thing is sitting at 14 million. Its fully diluted market cap is only 16 million. So like 95% of its tokens are in circulation. You can see here, it's got a 24-hour trading volume of 242,000. So it's got a lot of room to move. And then let's just take a look here at the last 1 year on this thing. So we can see, this thing not that long ago, back in December of 2024, it was all the way up at 7 going on 8 cents. So it's got a 4 going on a 5x in it right now, just to get back to where it was a few months ago. And if we go out to the max chart, you can see these great huge spikes where during the last bull market, this thing really took off. But then over the last, few years, this would have been a token that we could have been dollar cost averaging into at a relatively low price. But my point here is I don't see much time where this thing has been any lower than it is right now. If we go to its all-time low price, this was way back, in 2021. So it really looks to me like over the last couple, 2 or 3 years, this 1.7 cents is very, very close to the low. And as we talked about yesterday on the trading live stream, there's a real possibility that we've seen the bottom of the market. Bitcoin is back up to $109,000 and holding pretty steady. Had a dip down to 103, but that was a key support level. If you ask me, if Bitcoin would have dropped underneath $100,000 when it dropped down to that $102,000, $103,000 range, I think we could have been in for some more pain. But I think what the world is telling us, what the markets are telling us, is that it's about time for us to have the real Bitcoin bull. I mean, we've already have had a tremendous bull with Bitcoin, but I think that we're still a long ways away from where Bitcoin is going to get to over the next 3 to 6 months during 2025. And so a lot of these tokens are going to have a massive day in the sun. If we go up here and we look, you know, Bitcoin dominance is sitting at just over 60%. You know, in the previous bull markets, when Bitcoin started getting up in that 60-65% range, that was pretty close to a top for Bitcoin. And then once it tops out and the Bitcoin dominance then starts to drop, the reason it starts to drop is because money is flowing from Bitcoin into the altcoin market. So this is a token that I definitely think could be, you know, a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50x. Like a 50x from here would only take this thing to about $1, a little under $1. And as we saw here, it was all the way up to 46 cents during the last bull market. So Pablo, definitely a great find here. Thank you for putting this on my radar. Something that I've been not as good at lately is writing this stuff down. And then you would be amazed. You're on here, you're talking, you're going through all of this stuff. And then like an hour later, you're trying to remember what tokens you talked about. Like when you want to go back and buy them, you want to go look at something, you're looking at, man, what tokens did we talk about today? And if it's not written down, you know, it can be hard to remember sometimes. So I appreciate both of those tokens. Let me see here. Mr. Collective Growth Club, thank you so much for being here. Guys, we did an incredible Zoom yesterday training everybody on how to vote, how to nominate, how to navigate the website. I shouldn't say we. I sat there and watched Mr. Mike Dwyer do an amazing training on the Infinite Agape token and how it all works. And so, you know, I appreciate that. We're going to get the replay of that uploaded. And if you're in the Telegram group, we'll make it public in the Telegram group. It'll be on the Infinite Agape YouTube channel. It'll be here on the Infinite Crypto YouTube channel. So that is coming very soon. If you didn't watch last night's Zoom, you're definitely going to want to take a closer look at Zoom. Let me see here. Mr. Venom says, what do you think about fundamental ATU token? ATU. Let's go take a look at ATU. So ATU. I'm not exactly sure what token we are looking at here. Is it one of these Aave tokens? Is it this latch staked USDT? I'm not quite sure. Is this the right token? ATU. What do you think about fundamental ATU token? So Venom, what am I doing wrong? Or which one should I be clicking on? You said fundamental. Let me put in fundamental and see what comes up. Fundamental. Nope, that's not it either. So Venom, let me know what I'm doing wrong. Is it on CoinGecko? Do I need to go over to CoinMarketCap to look at this token? Let's click on, what is this here? We'll just click on this and see if this is so this looks like a stable coin, right? Yeah, so its all-time high was $1.12. Its all-time low was 65 cents. So this isn't. ATU is a DEX in the Binance Smart Chain Network. Okay, great. Is it on CoinGecko? I'm not seeing it here when I type in ATU. Let's go just AT. Not seeing it here on CoinGecko. So maybe we have to run over to CoinMarketCap. Let's take a quick peek. Let's go over to CoinMarketCap. Type in ATU. That did not pull up anything for me either. I don't know why ATU is bringing up status, Baraka, Duck, like things that are nowhere close to ATU. So Venom, you're going to have to help me figure out where I can find this at. In the meantime, I want to go back. I know we're focused on Binance Smart Chain products. And for the most part, you know, I want to stick with that. But at the same time, I've got a token that I wanted to share with you guys that you may or may not have heard about called Nosana. So Nosana is on the Solana blockchain. This is a project that one of my coaches, so I've mentioned in my life, I've got a lot of different coaches. I had a business coach that taught me a heck of a lot about running a business and being successful outside of crypto, named James Taylor. He started getting involved in crypto a few years ago, and he actually came across this token and was buying this token at about $2. It only ran up to about $8, but that's still, right now it's been beaten. You can see its 7-day range is 59 cents all the way up to 73 cents. But its all-time low here back on October 23rd of 2023 was 1 cent. So it had a massive run up for people that got into it early. But this token is still sitting at around 70 cents. And it is a token that I own, that I like the future of it. And one of the things that I like about Nosana, let me go back here. So it's not a lot of places you can buy it, because it is, I guess there's more places than I thought. You actually get it now on Gate. You can get it on MEXC, Kraken, and then you can get it on most of the DEXs that are on Solana, Radium, Orca, and so on and so forth. So actually it is a pretty easy place to buy. You can also just get it right through your Phantom wallet. The last time I bought some, I just got it right through my Phantom wallet. I bought it, through the swap feature on the Phantom wallet. I think that takes you through Radium or through Jupiter. But anyways, it is pretty easy to buy. It's super cheap to buy. The fees on Solana, as you know, are almost nothing. And then if you go to the website, it says affordable GPU rental for AI inference at scale. So Nosana is your go-to GPU marketplace for AI inference. Save up to 6x on compute costs and scale your AI workloads effortlessly. Access AI compute power or monetize your GPU resources. So you can see here, start earning with your GPUs. You can list your idle GPUs and earn while supporting the future of AI innovation. And then you can also access a global GPU network for your AI inference jobs at unbeatable prices. So I think that the demand for these types of companies is going to continue to go up, and there's always going to be two sides of the economy. You're going to have those people that are renting out their GPU, that are making money from the business side of it, and then you're going to have the people that are buying the GPU and that are using the product. I'm going to probably just be on the former. I want to rent out my GPU, earn more Nosana tokens, and then I really love their staking feature. So guys, if you go here to NOS staking, it's got a really nice staking mechanism, super easy. And you can do, the calculator here on your own. So like if you've got 100 NOS, you're going to get 0.02 NOS a day. So every 50 days, you're going to get an extra NOS. This is on a 14-day staking period. So if you stake it for 14 days, then obviously you don't have access to the liquidity for 14 days, but you're earning, 8% a year. You're owning 8% a year on your NOS. But what I like, it might be a little bit late in this bull market to do it, but what I like is if you go in and you start changing the number of days here, you can see that the annual percentage rate continues to go up too. So let's say that you believe we've got a solid 3 months before the peak of this bull market. You can literally go in and change this to 90 days, and you would be picking up a 12% APR. And then once again, not financial advice. I don't know that I would want to stake a token right now for a year. That would take us all the way until June of 2026. That's a pretty volatile time frame. I don't know if we're still going to be heading up or if we will have already peaked out and be kind of heading back down by then. If we go by other bull markets, June of 2026 would normally be a downward time in the cryptocurrency markets. obviously, as adoption and new things are coming in and taking place, you know, we might be in for, as we've already seen with this bull market, we might be in for some different cycles, if you will. Nothing's going to go up and to the right forever. So my point, though, is like this would have been a great one. Like my buddy, James Taylor, I'm sure he's been staking it for a year at a time. And I think he had his due to unlock in around February of this year. And then I don't know if he's staking it now on a month-to-month basis or like a 2-month basis or what he's doing. I'm sure he's still earning something. But for the last couple of years, you know, he had this thing staked at, you know, 29% interest, and he probably spent, I think he bought, you know, like at least 1,000 of them when they were down at about $2. So he's got 1,000 of these things that are earning him, you know, 80% of a Nosana a day. So, you know, if you do the math on that, let me see what we have here. If we take 0.80 times 365 days, that's 292 new Sosana. And let's say that he's been staking it now for, you know, a couple of years. If he's been, you know, staking it for a couple of years, and especially if he did any type of compounding, so the Sosana that you're earning in interest builds up and you can restake it. So let's say that he compounded it. We'll just say that with compounding it went up to 1,300. So the first year he made 292, but the second year at 1.05 Nosana a day times 365 days, he picked up another 383 plus the original 292. That means over the last 2 years, he has turned 1,000 Nosana into 1,675 Sosana that he's now earning interest on. Now, something that I think is really important for you guys to see here is, let's go here and take a quick peek. So if he bought 1,000 of these tokens at $2 a piece, he's invested $2,000. These things are only worth 70 cents. So he's lost, if he was buying them at $2, he's lost, you know, like 60% of his money. But because of the interest, you know, check this out. What did we just say? He had 1,675 of them. So at 1,675, he technically has $1,176 in value, and he owns 675 more tokens than he would have had he been, you know, had he just, you know, bought them. And there's some, I haven't talked to him enough. He might have dollar cost averaged and bought more tokens on the way down. But, you know, the reason that I mentioned this is because you can also look at this token as a little bit more of a long-term play. And this is what I mean. Let's say the next Bitcoin halving is in 2028. And so we believe that, say, you know, 2028 going into 2029 and 2030 are going to be, you know, 29 is going to be an amazing year. We're sitting here right now in 2025. So let's say that you bought, you know, 1,000 of these tokens, and you just decided, so 365 days is the longest staking period. But let's say that you decided you were going to take 1,000 tokens and you were just going to compound them till, you know, so June of 26, June of 27, June of 28. And then you were going to look at, you know, maybe taking it from, you know, at June of 28 would be after the halving period. So June of 29 would be right about where we're at now. So maybe you don't want to stake it for a year again. Maybe you don't want it staked till June of 29. Maybe you only want it staked till, you know, October, November, December, January. So you could lower your stake at that point. But once again, if we do the math here, the 1,000 is going to turn into, I'll do the math again for you real quick. We got 0.8 times 365. So that's 292 you're going to earn the first year. And I believe it's going to be more than that, because if this is your plan, then what I would recommend doing is I would restake the Sosana every few days as it builds up. Like, say, every 10 days, you're going to have 8 more Nosana. So you can basically compound. And when you're getting 30% APR and you're compounding it on, a weekly or bi-weekly basis. So even, 0.8 times 14, even every 2 weeks would be an extra 11 that you're adding to this. So, you can do the math yourself. All of a sudden, instead of having 1,000, you'd have 1,011. And now you go up to 0.81. That doesn't seem that big of a deal. But after 2 weeks, you're now going to have 1,022. So after the first month, you've got 1,022, and you're up to 0.82 that you're getting every single day. And I know, once again, 0.82 times 365 is 299. So now you're going to make 299 a year. And at 0.8 times 365, you were at 292. So that's an extra 6 that you're going to earn just after compounding the first 22. And then if you continue to do that every couple of weeks, I should probably find a calculator to throw this into. But my point is, I believe it's going to be much more than 292. But let's just say that it's 300. Let's just say that it's 300. So now after the first year, you've got 1,300 of these. Now at 1,300, we already did the math once, but at 1.05 a day times 13 or 365 days, the second year you're earning 383. So we said 300 the first year, and now 383. Let's go ahead and round that up with compounding to 400. I think it'll probably be more than 400, but let's round it up to 400. So now you're at June of 25. Now you're at June of 26. You're at June of 27, and you now have 1,700 Sosana. And remember, you don't care about the price. You're not looking at the price. You don't care if it's 50 cents or $25. Within reason, you are just building up a future retirement account, something that is going to turn into a lot of money for you, hopefully. So now you got 1,700. You're earning 1.37 a day times 365 days. That's 500 more Sosana. That's without compounding. That's just a straight 1,700, getting you 500 more. With compounding, I think it's going to be more than that. But now that takes you all the way to June of 2028, right after the halving. And I think we would all assume that it's probably safe to do like December or January of 2029. So now we would go down to about half of this. So instead of 365 days, let's say 180 days, six months, you're still going to get 18%. And now you've got 543, you've got 2,200 NOS at this point, 2,200 NOS. That's earning you 1.10 a day. So now 1.10 times 180 days, that's without compounding, is 198. So we'll call it 200. All right. So stick with me here. So another 200, you have 2,400 of these things now. And it is December or January of, December or January of 2029. Well, December of 2028, January of 2029. Now, let's just say that this token, which used to be almost an $8 token, let's just say that it's only $8. Well, 2,400 times $8 is 19,200. Today, you can buy 1,000 Nosana for $700. What can you invest your money into today in the stock market, real estate, gold, silver, anything along those lines? Where can you invest $700 today and in 3.5 years, have that potentially turn into a $20,000 bill. And I mean, what if Solana screws up and it only gets back up to $4? Well, so now you've only turned your 700 into 10,000. That's still a pretty significant return on your money. And this is also an opportunity. Now, let's take a quick look at something else here. I'm always talking about how you want to create passive income. You want to create, a lifestyle. So let's say that at this point in time, this thing is, let's say that it goes up and does something special, that it's more like right now, this thing is sitting at a $58 million market cap. So it's still only going to be well under $1 billion token. Even if it goes back up to its $8 price, it's only going to be what 8 times 6 is 48, be at about 500 million at $8. So if this token, does some really big things and becomes a multi-billion-dollar token, the amount of money that you could have coming in could be significant. So let's just say, though, at a $10 token, right now, that's a $12 a day. You could literally hold your 2,400 tokens and earn $12 a day, $360 a month for potentially forever. And this is another token. Let's say that this thing is here in 10, 20, 30 years. What will the price of this token be in 10 or 20 or 30 years? I can't even speculate. But what I do know is that if you own a lot of these tokens, you could start living off the cash flow. So let's say for those of you that have a little bit more money, you could double this number. So if how much would we need? How much Solana would we need at $10 a day to be able to create, say, let's say $5,000 a month? So let's do the math here real quick, guys. Hopefully you guys are sticking with me. Hopefully I'm not losing you. But like if you're looking at a way to make a $5,000 a month income, you take a token like this. So if we go $5,000 divided by 30 days, that's 166 a day. Let's just say we're looking at a $10 token divided by 10. So that's $16.66, or 16 tokens, 16.66 tokens. So let's call it 17 tokens. So guys, instead of starting off with $700 invested and 1,000 tokens, what if you started off with, if you did 5 times that? What if you invested $35 or $3,500 and you got yourself 5,000 of these tokens? So once again, if you do the maths, we're going to just run through this super quick. So 2.5 tokens times 365 is 912. Now you've got, and I'm not even going to round up. We're going to go 5912. 5912, the second, wait, that was bad math. It's even better than that because 5,000, and we're going to do 365 days to start with. So you're actually earning 4 of these a day. You're going to earn, so 4.02 times 365 is 1,463. So you're going to get 1,463 year one. So now we're going to take 1436 would be 6436 now. 6436. And you're going to be earning 5.7. So 5.18 times 365 gives you 1,890. So now we've got 5,000 plus 1,436 plus 1,890 gives you 8,326. 8,326 is now earning you 6.69 times 365 is 2,441 tokens. So now we've got 1,436 plus 1,890 plus 2,441 plus our original 5,000 gets us up to 10,767 tokens, 10,767 tokens. That's over 3 years. So now we're talking about June of 2028. You're now earning 8.65 tokens a day. And now if we go 180 days, so 180, you're going to earn 5.37 a day times 180. 5.37 times 180 equals another 966. So we got 10,767 plus 966 equals 11,733 tokens. 11,733. So that did not get us anywhere near the 16 that we were talking about. But let's go back to 365, because if your goal here is just to live off of the interest, well, that gives you 9.43 tokens a day. You'd have 11,000 NOS tokens, earning you almost 9.5 a day. And that was with no compounding. So that's just straight interest with no compounding. You're probably at a much higher number if you look at compounding it every 2 weeks and adding your stake tokens in every 2 weeks instead of once a year. But once again, 9.43 times $10 is $94.30 times 30 days. That's $2,829 a month at a $10 token. Now, this thing was $7.83 back during the last bull market. Where is it going to be by 2029? It's hard to say, but if it's still in business, there is a high likelihood that it's going to be at $10 or more. So, folks, if you're living in the United States, most of you work for 40 or 50 years, and if you're lucky and Social Security is still here, at the end of 40 or 50 years of work, you're going to have $1,000, $1,500, maybe $2,000 a month coming from Social Security. I'm showing you how, with this model right here, a one-time $3,500 investment once. If you wanted to dollar cost average and time the market and buy dips and accumulate more tokens during some of the downtimes, you could do even better than that. But a $3,500 once, staked for the next 3.5 years, could very, very well, like even at half of this, it would be $1,400 a month, which is still as much as a lot of people are going to get from Social Security. Once again, even if Social Security is around for guys that are 30, 40 years old, and you've got 30 or 20, 30 years before you're going to get Social Security, man, what an opportunity in my mind. And this is the same reason that I love the Atom token. And there's 2 or 3 different tokens like this that I am starting to implement this strategy on. So, I know that we're all looking for money today, money tomorrow. What are we going to do in, 2 or 3 months at the peak of this bull market? Where's the money going to be? And, folks, I'm not against you timing the market. So let's say that you do this. You buy $3,500 worth of it. And then over the next few months, it goes up to $5, $6, $7, $8 a token. And then it looks like we're going to head into a bear market and people are telling you, hey, like, we're going back down. Bitcoin's going to retrace 50, 60, 70%. If you decided that you wanted to sell your tokens and forgo a little bit of interest with the goal of buying your NOS tokens back at a lower price, I would be all for that. The only trouble is what most people will do is they'll take their 700 or their 3,500 and now they've got it turned into, 10,000, 20, 30,000. And instead of actually holding it and then buying the NOS tokens when they come back down, they'll spend the money on other stuff. But theoretically, if you don't have, if you had 3,500 and it turned into 30,000, and let's just say, so at 3,500 into 30,000 would be a 10x. So say that NOS came back up to, say, about a $7 token, and now you had, $30,000 worth of NOS. And if you sold it, and then NOS comes running back down, Look at the damage that you could do. Let's say that NOS comes back down to, a $2 token. Now you could buy 15,000 tokens, and you would be in a position where, let's say that took a handful of months. So you lost out on a little bit of interest, but now your 15,000 tokens is earning you 12,000 tokens a day. So, or 12 tokens a day. So 12 times 365 is, 4,300. So even if you lost out on, say, 6 months of interest, that would say, let's say that took you, let's say that you sold all of the tokens and then you had them all bought back by March of 2026. Now you'd have February of 26, February of 27, February of 28, or excuse me, 2027, 28, and 29. So by 2029, you would have, over 30,000 NOS. And at 30,000, now you're up to 24 of them a day. So you guys can do your own math. You can play this out however you want to play it out. You don't even, obviously not financial advice. You don't have to do this, but this is one of the things that I'm going to do while I focus. I've got my buckets. I've got my spot hold bucket, and I am looking at taking and realizing my profits during this bull market, hopefully cashing out enough money to significantly impact my quality of life. I'm also going to take a bunch of that money and wait for the market to retrace and hopefully get a bunch back in at lower prices. I've got my trading, we talked about that yesterday. I've got my trading that I'm doing. That's also something else that I'm going to realize those profits at some point in time. But I do want to have a couple of plays like my Atom tokens and my NOS tokens that I'm looking at these for the next bull market and what these are going to do. Because imagine this, 24 of these things, 24 of them at $10. What are you? Will you quit doing that? Like, why do you keep getting in there? Oh, for goodness sakes, these dogs. Sometimes I wonder about the intelligence, but 24, that's 240 a day times 30 days. That's $7,200 a month in income. And that's if it's just a $10 token. And once again, I don't have a crystal ball. It could be a 10-cent token. It could be out of business. But is it worth investing $3,500 once? How much is $7,200 a month times 12? That's $186,000 a year. Is it worth investing $3,500 once to potentially have an asset that is paying you $86,000 a year come 2029? How many of you would be able to raise your hand and tell your boss that you didn't want to work for him anymore if you had 30,000 NOS tokens and they were earning you $86,000 a year? And what if they're $20 tokens? What if they're $30 tokens? So folks, I think one of the mistakes that I've made in my cryptocurrency journey is that I'm focused on too short of time frames sometimes. So I have now created this long-term bucket. I'm going to invest in NOS. I'm going to stake NOS. And I'm not going to worry about the price. I don't care if I've got 10,000 of them and the price is $10. And then all of a sudden it goes all the way down, to back to $1 or $2. I'm not going to sweat that. I'm not going to sweat the ups and downs. This is a long-term thing. Just like when you invest in your 401k, most of you, it's stuck there. You can't do anything with it, even if you wanted to, for the most part. So what do? When the market's going down, you complain about it and you're not happy, but you don't pull out all your money because it's hard to do. It doesn't make sense with a 401k. That's why a lot of people that have a set fixed retirement plan like a 401k do better than the guy that's got control of his money, because what happens is the guy that's got control of his money is too likely to let emotions come into play. And he tries to sell at the top and buy at the bottom, and he misses a lot of opportunities and he misses a lot of pumps. And he's not able to time it. And the guy that just invests in his 401k every single paycheck for years and years and years and years ends up historically doing way better than the average person that tries to control their own financial investments. And a lot of us fall into that trap when it comes into, these, types of cryptocurrency investing plays, because we're all looking at, hey, how do we get to be, a millionaire in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months? And that's important too. I'm not saying to not focus on that, but this is just another little way that if you guys like NOS, you see the utility of it, you believe that it's got potential to be a bigger company and a more profitable company down the road, this is an opportunity to potentially create some massive passive income for you. So at this point in time, you could literally just start spending, just cash out 24 tokens a day into Solana, and then, cash that out to your Coinbase or however you're going to spend your crypto. You can do that, or you could even do a 50-50. Like you could literally, if 120 a day, $3,600 a month is a decent little chunk, you can compound 12 tokens a day and spend 12 tokens a day and keep adding to your 30,000. But imagine, folks, that this is a company that's around in a couple of decades, and all you've done is just spend the 24 a day. You just spend them. Like, you're not worried about building them up. The only thing that you've done is you've kept this 30,000 staked. And let's say that over the next 20 years, this company becomes a 10 billion, 20 billion, 50 billion, $100 billion company, which is going to happen with some of these cryptocurrency companies. There's already a bunch that have done that. But we're talking about over 2 decades, 20 more years. If you're 30, 40 years old, imagine how much those tokens are going to be worth if NOS is still around in 20 years. Imagine the financial legacy that you would have been able to turn over to your children. Let's say that those 30,000 tokens are worth $100 a piece now. Can't even do the math on that. Is that $3 million? 30,000 times 100. Yeah, that's $3 million. And you originally invested $3,500, and you got to spend $240 a day for the last 17 years, if it takes you 3 years to build it up. So you got to spend $240 a day for 15, 16, 17 years, and you have an asset that is worth $3 million in 20 years when you get ready to retire, all from a $3,500 investment. So, with that, folks, we have been an hour and 17 minutes. I am going to let you guys get out of here and enjoy your Wednesday. I've got an important meeting coming up that I have to go hop onto, but it's been a pleasure. I hope you guys got some great value out of today. And remember, go take a closer look at Hacken, the high token. Go take a closer look at Brecken, and go take a closer look at NOS. And then, of course, I'm going to plug my own token one more time, man. Go get $77 worth of the AGAPE token. In fact, we're going to do some giveaways next week. So for those of you that go buy $77 worth of tokens today, and let me know in the Telegram group, we're going to do a special giveaway for those of you guys next week on this Wednesday live stream. And so, in fact, I'll give you a couple of days. You got the rest of Wednesday and all of Thursday. If you go buy, whether you're a first-time buyer or if you go add $77 to your original bag, we're going to do a special giveaway next week just for the people that did that. You're going to have to prove that you have access to the wallet that did that purchase. So, don't try to scam me. I'm not going to fall for it. If you go buy $77, awesome. If you try to piggyback off of somebody else that bought $77, it ain't going to work. But with that, I want to do things for people that are supporting the project. So go buy a minimum of $77 worth of tokens. You're going to be happy if you did. I'm going to do something special for those of you that go buy $77. It's not even going to be a drawing. It's not going to be a maybe. I've got some special things in plan for you. I don't care if it's 10 of you that go buy the token or 100 of you that go buy $77 worth of tokens. Come next Wednesday, you come back here and we're going to do something special for you. So with that, folks, Appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you all for being here. And God bless you, man. Have an incredible week. Remember that He is the source of all of our strength, of all of our good things. You know, I put my faith in Jesus Christ, and He's never let me down. So for those of you that believe in God the way that I do, go out and live a faith-filled week. Go out and touch people's lives. Be bold with your faith. For those of you that are still unsure about the whole God thing, I love you, and I'm praying for you, and I hope that you have an amazing week too, and maybe just be open. You know, one thing that I'm hoping is through this channel that I just open your heart just a little bit. So if you are sure that there isn't a God, if you're an atheist or if you're agnostic or if you don't believe in Jesus, that's okay. I still love the heck out of you. And I'm still very glad that you are a part of this community. But just take me up on my challenge of saying a quick prayer. Just say, hey, God, if you're real, please let me know it, Lord. If you really exist, please prove to me that you are real. And I believe in all of my heart that God is going to do something to prove that He is real. He is faithful. He wants you to know that He is real. So if you give Him an invitation and invite Him to prove that He's real, I believe that He's going to bring people into your life, and He's going to do things that are going to cause you to be like, man, there's no way this could have happened if it wasn't for God trying to reveal to me that He is truly real and that He does love me. So with that, folks, have an incredible rest of your week, and we will see you on Monday for the Monday Mindset Mastery live stream. God bless. Bye-bye.